Picture a story where wishes come true. A whopping $500 million windfall and control of a booming business. That's the reality that unfolded for us as Nora, my sister-in-law, joyfully celebrated our family's newfound wealth. Among the staff, whispers spread like wildfire as they soaked in the news. With a triumphant tone, Nora announced, "Quiet, please. It's time for my husband to step into his role at the company and claim his $3 million share." Her words triggered laughter among the employees, intrigued by the sudden twist. In the midst of the excitement, my older brother Jack pored over legal papers passed to him by our family's lawyer. His face drained of color as he absorbed the contents of our father's will. "Take a look at this," he whispered to Nora, who gasped in shock as she read the document. "Hi there. I'm Stella, a 26-year-old who's been deeply involved in my dad's business since I was little. I've seen him build it up from scratch into the success it is today. Even when things got tough at the start, he never gave up. And that really inspired me. As the business grew, I wanted to help out, especially since my mom handled a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. My parents always encouraged me to choose my own path after high school, but I knew I wanted to be part of Dad's legacy. That feeling only got stronger as I got older. When I finally joined the family business, I was lucky to have Leo, a longtime employee, show me the ropes. He taught me all about how things work without treating me differently because I'm the boss's kid. Learning from him gave me a real understanding of what we do and how to do it well. Meanwhile, my brother Jack, who's just a year older than me, was off studying management, planning to take over from Dad one day. He'd often talk about it with his friends, confident that he was meant to lead the company someday. This tale peels back the layers of family dynamics, inheritance, and the pursuit of success within a business setting. It challenges the idea that privilege equals entitlement, instead highlighting the importance of earning one's place through hard work and dedication. As the story unfolds, unexpected twists shine a light on the true meaning of legacy and responsibility. My brother Jack led a life cushioned by stability and certainty, the envy of many of his friends. "You're so lucky," they'd say, eyeing the secure future Jack had courtesy of our family's business. The conversation often turned to me, his younger sister, sparking curiosity about any potential rivalry for control of the company. "Oh, my sister. She's around, but she's more a behind-the-scenes type," Jack would explain, somewhat brushing off any speculation. Jack had his own approach to getting ready for leadership, spending extravagantly and enjoying socializing under the guise of gaining management experience. He knew that being the future president made him popular, especially with women attracted to his status. Among many admirers, he picked Nora, the most dazzling of them all, as his wife. Their wedding was a spectacle, followed by a lavish honeymoon and the building of a grand mansion to start their luxurious life together. Nora seemed perfectly content in her role, living in luxury and always having things her way with Jack. Compared to her, my life seemed ordinary, quietly working alongside my mother in the company. I was happy with my behind-the-scenes role, far from the glitz and glamour Nora enjoyed. During family gatherings, Nora often looked at me with a hint of superiority in her laughter. "You don't really fit the image of a CEO's daughter," she'd say, finding the idea amusing. I never understood Nora's fascination with extravagant living, a lifestyle that felt foreign to me. She probed, unable to grasp why someone born into wealth would show little interest in flaunting it. "Living so simply despite your family's riches, I just don't get it," she'd say, as if the idea of not showcasing wealth was beyond her comprehension. This difference in our lifestyles highlighted our contrasting values and viewpoints. While Nora valued material possessions and social status, I found fulfillment in quietly contributing to our family's legacy. It wasn't about money or titles for me. It was about being part of something meaningful. Despite being the daughter of the company's president, as my brother often pointed out, I didn't seek attention or special treatment. I believed in treating my colleagues with respect, just like anyone else. My approach to work and relationships within the company was rooted in humility and mutual learning. I recognized that many of my coworkers had skills and knowledge surpassing mine, and I respected the importance of every role within our organization. My brother held firm to the belief that a boss must always maintain an air of superiority to command respect from their team. He was surprised by my perspective and criticized my approach, insisting that a true leader should assert dominance and delegate mundane tasks to others. According to him, This mindset separated the real leaders in our family from the rest. When I tried to defend my viewpoint, stressing the importance of respecting all team members regardless of their role, my brother quickly dismissed my arguments. He claimed that such thinking would make me unappealing to potential partners. Nora joined in, suggesting that my attitude and outlook on life would leave me alone forever, advising me to change to become more attractive. My brother even threatened my job security once he took over the company, highlighting our vastly different values and approaches to leadership and personal relationships. Following the uncomfortable confrontation, my mother stepped in with her support, reminding me of the value I brought to the company and advising me not to let my brother's criticisms affect me. My father also made his disapproval of my brother's attitude clear with his stern demeanor. It was evident that my parents didn't share my brother and Nora's views, leading to a tense period where they avoided our family home. Reflecting on the strain caused by this disagreement, I realized that despite our differences, it was crucial for each of us to stay true to our principles. While my brother and Nora continued their lavish lifestyle, frequenting fancy restaurants and luxurious resorts to maintain a certain image, I remained dedicated to my values. I focused on making meaningful contributions to our family business, cherishing the importance of humility and teamwork that I had learned over time. Jack was on track to become the president of our father's company, a role he was being prepared for as our father worked diligently to expand his business. One evening at home, my father suddenly felt intense chest pains. Worried, I urged him to stay calm while I called for an ambulance. In those tense moments, he directed me to a letter in a drawer, insisting, "Stella, read this. If anything happens to me, the lawyers will handle the rest." His words were barely out before he lost consciousness, and despite being rushed to the hospital, he passed away without regaining consciousness. Jack and Nora, my brother and his wife, were abroad during this crisis and missed being with our father during his final moments. They returned from their vacation 3 days later, just in time for the funeral. Jack's comment, "We're just glad we made it on time. Never thought Dad would pass while we were away," struck me as insensitive. Their casual arrival and failure to acknowledge the efforts my mother and I put into organizing the funeral were deeply disheartening. I was surprised by his criticism, especially since my mother and I had carefully chosen the menu together. I told him I didn't appreciate being told what to do, explaining that his behavior showed a lack of understanding of true leadership. Jack didn't stop at bossing me around. He also gave orders to the employees, including Leo, a highly respected member of our company. When I heard Jack ordering Leo, I stepped in and scolded my brother for his disrespectful attitude. Jack argued back, asking why he should have to show humility to an employee and insisting that he deserved more respect as the future president. Nora supported Jack's actions and threatened to fire me if I continued to challenge him. Suddenly, a man interrupted our heated argument. He introduced himself as the lawyer who had been handling our father's affairs, including his will, something my father had mentioned to me before he passed away. This news caught Jack and Nora's attention, especially when the topic of inheritance came up. They eagerly welcomed the lawyer, hoping to learn more about the fortune they expected to inherit. As they discussed the inheritance, Jack became emotional, asking about the rumored $500 million. Nora couldn't contain her excitement at the thought of such wealth, seeing it as their ticket to a dream life. This announcement caused a buzz among the employees, but Nora quickly hushed them, proudly anticipating their imminent rise to power. This situation really showed the contrast in values and priorities within our family, especially between Jack and Nora's focus on material wealth and my dedication to honoring my father's legacy with respect and humility. The lawyer's arrival signaled the start of a new chapter, one that would reveal my father's true intentions for his inheritance and the company's future. When everyone expected the company and a $500 million inheritance to go to Jack, the contents of the will caused quite a stir among the employees. One of them couldn't help but laugh, and soon it became clear why. As Jack and Nora read the will, they were shocked to discover that the entire company was to be passed on to me, the eldest daughter. Jack was visibly stunned, his face turning pale as he protested, insisting there must be some mistake. The lawyer present during this confrontation confirmed the legality of the will, which only made Jack more agitated and unwilling to accept the decision. He argued that our father must have been mentally unfit when making such choices, suggesting they were invalid. This attack on our father's judgment pushed me over the edge. I defended our father's honor and integrity, refusing to accept Jack's claim to lead the company. My brother reached his breaking point as I openly questioned his qualifications, highlighting his lack of contribution to the company's well-being. Jack and Nora defended themselves, claiming they had prepared for his presidency by building a luxurious mansion and living a lavish lifestyle. I countered, emphasizing that these surface-level actions didn't prove leadership or business sense. Furthermore, I revealed the letter from our father detailing the financial support he had given Jack, including the mansion and other extravagances, which was actually an advance on Jack's inheritance, significantly reducing his share. Nora panicked upon hearing this, realizing the implications of the will and letter. The whole situation played out as a clash between expectations and reality, exposing the deep divisions within our family over our father's company's legacy and the true qualities of leadership and responsibility. When the $500 million inheritance was mentioned, Nora's confusion and frustration were evident. Wait, so the whole inheritance is only worth $500 million? Have we really spent that much already? This doesn't seem fair, she lamented. An employee who had previously laughed stepped forward to clarify for Nora that the $500 million represented the company's value, not personal wealth available for inheritance. Nora struggled to understand this distinction, unable to grasp that company funds weren't meant to be divided up as personal inheritance. I explained to her that the company's wealth was meant for its growth and sustainability, not personal inheritance, meaning Jack's share of any personal inheritance would be minimal. This revelation visibly shook her, showing a clear misunderstanding of the difference between company assets and personal wealth. At this point, Jack seemed to have a moment of realization or perhaps denial. He turned to the employees, questioning their support for me as president over him, arguing that leadership was his birthright due to the charisma he believed he shared with our father. However, the silence that followed spoke volumes. None of the employees came to his defense. Leo, a veteran and respected figure in the company, then addressed Jack directly. He contrasted the genuine charisma and foundational legacy of our father with Jack's misplaced arrogance. Leo's words resonated, emphasizing a respect earned through actions and humility rather than entitlement. He pointed out Jack's absence and lack of contribution to the company's daily operations, dismissing Jack's excuses of networking as irrelevant to the real work needed to sustain and grow the business. In contrast, Leo praised my efforts to understand and contribute to the company from the ground up, acknowledging the sincerity and dedication I shared with our father. This endorsement from Leo and the collective agreement from other employees highlighted a shared acknowledgement of my suitability for leadership, based not on entitlement but on commitment and respect for the legacy and future of the company. Touched by their support, I felt a renewed sense of responsibility and gratitude. The employees' acknowledgement of my efforts and their trust in my leadership validated the path I had chosen, one that honored my father's values and our company's collective ambition. I thanked the employees, recognizing the unexpected turn of events, but emphasizing my dedication to the company, a passion inherited from my father. I asked for their ongoing support, and their warm applause strengthened my determination. I then emphasized the importance of every team member, stating, "Anyone who disregards this isn't fit for a leadership role," hinting that even a president could be held accountable. Jack was taken aback by my words. "What do you mean? I'm your brother, and you're saying you'd fire me if I were president?" Jack protested, confused by my prioritization of competence over family ties. He looked for support, but the employees' cool responses indicated their agreement with my viewpoint. Feeling isolated, Jack and Nora swiftly left the scene. After the incident, Jack found himself without a job, relying on the modest inheritance he had received, which quickly dwindled. "Can you lend me some money, Stella?" he later asked. However, faced with his ongoing lack of effort to find work, I was put off by his dependency. I advised our mother against offering financial assistance, pointing out his fall from grace and the loss of his once supportive friends. Nora, who had envisioned a life of luxury as the company president's wife, also received little sympathy from her social circle after these events. Eventually, financial strain led them to sell their mansion, a temporary solution that briefly restored their extravagant lifestyle but proved unsustainable in the long run. Their savings dried up, and when they finally considered getting jobs, their lack of experience and their tarnished reputation made them unemployable. These events highlighted the consequences of entitlement and the importance of hard work, humility, and maintaining good relationships. In the ups and downs of life, Jack found himself in a new role far from his previous aspirations. He secured a part-time job at a convenience store, a significant change from his earlier plans. This job, unfamiliar and challenging, placed him alongside younger colleagues who often noticed his lack of experience. It was a humbling experience, forcing Jack to confront the realities he had previously overlooked. Nora also experienced a significant shift in her daily life. Her days as a full-time housewife, once filled with leisure and luxury, were replaced by the demands of part-time work. She took on a role as a cashier in a supermarket, working long hours for modest pay. This new chapter for Nora was marked by hard work and perseverance, a departure from her previous expectations. As my brother and sister-in-law adjusted to their new circumstances, I utilized the knowledge and insights gained from my behind-the-scenes work in the company. With the guidance of Leo and our dedicated team, we concentrated on expanding the business, drawing strength from the challenges we encountered. The ordeal with my brother not only tested our determination but also strengthened our unity. Together, we strive to honor my father's legacy by growing the company and fostering a sense of community and achievement among our employees. This contrast in our paths highlighted life's unpredictability and emphasized the importance of adaptability, humility, and hard work. While Jack and Nora adapted to their new realities, their journey served as a reminder of the lessons learned from overcoming adversity. As for me, I remained committed to leading our family business forward, treasuring the wisdom of the past while building a brighter future for everyone involved, fulfilling a promise to honor our father's memory.